Have you ever looked at a company and wondered what's the real difference between just being good and being truly great? Not just for a year or a quarter, but for the long haul. Well, Jim Collins and his research team spent years digging into that exact question. And what they found is basically a roadmap that any organization can follow. So let's dive in. It all kicks off with this single, powerful idea. Good is the enemy of great. Just let that sink in for a second. It's so counterintuitive, right? We think failure is the big enemy, but it's not. For most organizations, the thing that holds them back is the comfort of just being, well, good enough. And that really gets to the heart of the matter. If being good is the enemy, why do so few companies ever actually make that leap to great? It's because good is a comfortable place to be. It pays the bills, things are stable, no one's panicking. But that very comfort, it becomes a trap. It stops you from making the hard choices and putting in the sustained effort that real excellence demands. So how do you escape that trap? Well, the research showed it's not about some single brilliant idea or a big charismatic celebrity CEO. Not at all. It's actually a quiet, deliberate process. Think of it like a methodical climb up a mountain, built on a really clear framework of disciplined steps. And we're about to walk through that framework right now. The entire foundation of greatness starts right here, with what Collins calls disciplined people. And notice the key thing here. The first step isn't about vision, it isn't about strategy, it isn't even about where you're going. It's about who is on the journey with you. And right at the very top of these great companies, you find this very specific, very unique type of leader. Collins calls them a level 5 leader, and they are a fascinating paradox. These are not the larger-than-life personalities you see on magazine covers. They're individuals who somehow blend this deep, personal humility with an absolutely ferocious professional will. Let's break that weird combination down. On one side, you have personal humility. They're quiet, they're unassuming. Their ambition is for the company, not for themselves. But on the other side, you've got this relentless, unwavering professional will. They're absolutely determined to do whatever it takes to make the company great, no matter how tough those decisions are. This unique leadership style leads right into the first core principle of action. Before you figure out your strategy, before you decide where you're going, you focus on one thing and one thing only. First, who, then what. Just think of your organization as a bus. The process here is really simple, but it's not easy. First, you get the right people on the bus. Then, and this is just as important, you get the wrong people off the bus. It's only after you have a bus full of people who are self-motivated and share your values that you finally figure out where to drive it. And why? Because a bus full of the right people can adapt and figure out how to get to a great destination no matter where the road leads. Okay, so once you've got the right people on that bus, the next phase is all about getting crystal clear on where you're headed. This is disciplined thought. It's about using an honest, rigorous process to find your path. And it all begins with a stone-cold commitment to reality. Great companies build a culture where the truth is always heard, no matter how ugly it is. You absolutely have to confront the most brutal facts of your current situation, with no sugarcoating and no blame games. But, and this is the absolute key, at the exact same time you're staring those brutal facts in the face, you have to maintain an unwavering faith that you will prevail in the end. It's this paradox, this ability to hold both the harsh reality and the absolute belief in your success. That's the psychological cornerstone of greatness. Now, with that mindset, you can then discover your hedgehog concept. This isn't some complex strategy or mission statement. It's a deep understanding of a simple, elegant idea that guides everything you do. And you find it at the intersection of 3 really important questions. Think of it like a Venn diagram with 3 overlapping circles. The first circle is, what are you deeply passionate about? The second, what can you be the absolute best in the world at? And the third, what drives your economic engine? You see, greatness isn't found in just one of those circles, but right in that sweet spot in the middle where all 3 overlap. That's your hedgehog. So, you've got the right people, you've got your guiding concept, but a map doesn't do you any good if you don't actually start driving. This final phase is all about execution. This is the engine, disciplined action. It's about turning all that potential into real, tangible results day in and day out. Now, when we say discipline, we're not talking about a rigid, bureaucratic, top-down system. A true culture of discipline is about having self-disciplined people who don't need to be managed. It's about creating a clear framework of responsibility and then giving those people the freedom and trust to deliver within it. And you can see how this all just clicks together. You start with disciplined people. Those people naturally engage in disciplined thought. And that combination allows for disciplined action. Each part reinforces the others, creating this incredibly powerful self-perpetuating loop. So what about technology? This is a big one. The research was crystal clear here. Technology is never the cause of greatness. It's an accelerator of momentum you already have. So if you're already heading in the right direction, technology can help you get there faster. But it can't save you if you've got the wrong people on the bus or you're focused on the wrong hedgehog concept. This is really the crucial difference. Great companies are smart technologists. They very carefully and strategically apply technology to amplify what they're already great at. Mediocre companies, on the other hand, are tech faddists. They just chase every new trend out of a fear of being left behind, without any real purpose. So when you combine all of these disciplines, the people, the thought, the action, you finally get to the breakthrough moment. But it doesn't happen overnight like a lightning strike. It happens through a process that Collins calls the flywheel. I want you to imagine a giant, heavy, 50-foot flywheel. Getting that thing to move takes a massive effort. That first push, it barely budges. The second push moves it maybe an inch more. But you keep pushing, and pushing, and pushing. Each turn is consistent, building on the one right before it. That is the flywheel effect. It's the cumulative result of all those small, disciplined pushes, adding up over time. Eventually, that flywheel starts to spin faster and faster, building its own unstoppable momentum. And from the outside, it might look like some dramatic overnight revolution. But for the people on the inside, it just feels like a logical, organic evolution. So there it is. The path is actually pretty clear. You start by getting the right people on the bus, then you find clarity with disciplined thought, you execute relentlessly with disciplined action, and all of that comes together to build that sustained momentum with your flywheel.
And look, this isn't just some theory for giant corporations. These are timeless principles that apply to almost anything. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Whether it's for your company, your team, or even just your own life, what's the first, small, disciplined push you can make on your flywheel starting right now?